Hi all, it's Linda and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the law of attraction and manifestation. Manifestation is really this idea that we can all create our own reality. That if we focus all of our energy and thoughts into something, we can actually create it in our world. It really is not that different in concept than this thing that this idea that our parents teach us, that if you want to be, successful in life, you want to get good grades so you can get into a good college and then get a great job and be a successful person and a happy person in your life, right? It really is there's very little difference between that and the law of attraction. Actually, that is a way or a form of implementing the law of attraction in life. But the law of attraction and manifestation go well beyond that. And the reason why I say that is because it really goes into this idea of really harnessing all of your energy, all of your vibrational state to attract things to you, to attract to you what you desire and what you want into your life. Now, manifestation and the law of attraction are used really synonymously, though they are not. They're very similar, but they're not exactly the same. And the way that I differentiate them is that the law of attraction is really the vehicle through which you can manifest in your life. And in the spiritual world is, the idea is, or the belief is, that this universe in its entirety is ruled by the law of attraction. And you've probably heard about this before. I think there's that famous movie called The Secret, which talks about the law of attraction. But it's actually fairly common, I think, in our daily vernacular, this idea of, attracting things to you, manifesting, or more specifically the law of attraction. The reason why I wanted to make this video though is because I think that there are certain things about the law of attraction that I feel people don't necessarily understand or have forgotten or seem to miss. And that is that the law of attraction, it doesn't only work based on what you want to attract or what you're wanting to attract. It doesn't only work based on your positive expression or your positive feelings or your positive thoughts. The law of attraction works on the entirety of your vibration. What do I mean by that? What I'm trying to explain here is that, for example, something that is very common is the use of things like affirmations, right? Where you read sentences or repeat sentences or thoughts to yourself that are positive, whether it's about yourself, other people, or the situation that you're in. And I'm someone who's actually used that in my own life, right? So is this idea that if you focus your thoughts and your feelings or your words into something, and your expression into something positive, you will attract positive things to you. Now, all of that is true, right? The law of attraction works on all levels. So if there's aspects of you that you're trying to focus on positive things, the law of attraction is going to work on those. But what sometimes I think people seem to miss is that, like I said, the law of attraction works on the entirety of your energy or your vibration. So all of those things about you that are don't feel great, that are, I'll use the term negative emotions because I just have a bit of a hard time using that because I don't like to label any emotion as negative. But in any case, what people consider to be negative thoughts or negative feelings or negative emotions are also points of attraction for the law of attraction, and therefore also things you can manifest into your own life. So for example, I'll use an example of my own personal life. A few years ago, I was going through a really tough situation and I was really sad and really depressed, and I started doing daily affirmations. I would force myself to smile as I was walking, and I would use daily affirmations to make me feel better and to try and change my insides and try to feel better about myself and my then situation, right? Now that's all good and great. I'm not trying to put that down. I think that is an essential step in everyone's not just spiritual journey, but journey of self-development and evolution. I think you have to start working, whether it's from the inside out, outside in, from the sides, whatever angles you need to, get all of those good feelings and good energy and good vibration in, do it. But what I think we tend to forget is that it is also important to work on the inside, right? And in my case, I was focusing all my energy in saying positive things and trying to think positive things. But my emotions were not catching up with that, right? I still was feeling pretty shitty at the time. So I do want to give you a couple of tips of how we can leverage the law of attraction in a way that is more efficient or has better impact for us in our lives. And one of the first things that I want to say is that we want to remember that the law of attraction doesn't necessarily work just on the positive aspects, on the positive things, on our positive thoughts or our positive emotions, right? Those are not the only point of attractions. Everything within us, all aspects of us, are points of attraction for the law of attraction. So one of the things that is really helpful to focus is on trying to clear all of those aspects of us, or as many as we can, that are derailing our manifestation, and usually are aspects of us that we have repressed or suppressed. This is something that can be worked through a process called shadow work, or actually shadow work is more of an umbrella term that includes a variety of processes. But this is a technique that I think it was mostly popularized by Carl Jung, the psychologist, but I don't believe it is his, because I do know that there's several shamanic and native cultures that have been using shadow work processes for centuries. But in any case, the idea of shadow work is that we want to bring all of those unconscious aspects that are an unknown point of attraction for our manifestations. We want to bring all of those to consciousness. And what that means is, and this happens to every human being. I don't believe, I can't imagine that there's anybody in the planet who doesn't have shadow. I just think my belief is that it's part of the human condition. But basically is this idea that, when you are, for example, a young child, if you are someone who wants to be a dancer, but your parents, tell you from a very young age, no, in order for you to be a part of this family and a successful person in the world, you need to be an engineer or a doctor or what have you. And you grow up with that mentality, that person, that child, suppresses, or more accurately represses, that part of them, right? That part of them that is in alignment with them being a dancer. And that could be their love for dancing, their love for music, their expression, etc. They grow up to become this adult, and the way that shadow manifests itself is that as they become older, right, because that memory or that feeling or that desire has been repressed, suppressed, etc., they're no longer aware of it by the time they become an adult, but it is still attracting and it is still creating circumstances in their life. Like, for example, this person could, for example, go into medical school, and even though they're super smart and have a great memory and normally do very well in school, could be flunking out of med school. Or, for example, this person can go into the engineering field and graduate and go into that job and be completely depressed and miserable working as an engineer, right? And those are aspects of us that are actually creating circumstances in our life, but because they've been suppressed or repressed, we are no longer aware of it. We are not conscious of them. So what shadow work does is it brings all of those aspects of us into the light, into consciousness, so that we can work with them and heal them where necessary. Sometimes you don't even need to be healed, but it's just this idea that by bringing them forth and becoming aware of them, it clears that point of attraction, right? So that then your manifestations are more pure and are more efficient. Another advice or tool that I would suggest, or my second advisory tool that I would suggest is to really focus on the essence of what you are trying to manifest. And in a lot of spiritual circles, this is known as not focusing on form. And the best example, I'll give you a couple of examples, very common examples. One, if you're someone who, for example, are wanting a romantic relationship, right, and you're trying to manifest that, you're trying to harness the law of attraction to manifest a romantic relationship, what most of us do, myself included, is that we focus on a person that we're interested in or that we're attracted to at that particular moment in time, and then we try to manifest a relationship with that person. And while that's okay, I mean, that's all good and well, the idea is that what you want to focus on, what is more efficient and has more impact, is to focus on the essence of what you want. And in that case, the essence of what you want is a romantic relationship. In some cases, like in mine, it would be, for example, a romantic relationship where I feel loved, where I feel desired, where I feel respected, and I can do the same for the other person, etc. Right? So that's the essence of what you want. The form is that I want this person. See how those two things are different, and what, in order for the law of attraction to really work at its best, I believe that what you want to focus on is the essence of what you desire, of your true desire. So another example that I can use is the idea of money, right? So again, using myself as an example, money is not something that is important to me, right? But when I started this journey, I was thinking about, well, I wanted to manifest money. But what I really wanted, when I honestly and deeply looked into myself, it wasn't really money that I wanted. What I was wanting was what I thought money could bring me. The essence of what I wanted, which was really, or is this idea of this feeling of security, of feeling safe and feeling secure because I don't have to, I have enough money to pay my bills and to survive. This idea of money giving me freedom, right? For the idea that I could do whatever I want because I have enough money to do whatever I want and to pursue the things that I love and desire, such things like travel, etc. So when you really look at the essence of what I want in that scenario, it's not the money I want, it's the things that I think money can bring me. And by focusing on money, I am actually to some degree limiting the universe, right? Because I'm assuming that the universe can bring me these things that I want, which is security and, the things that I love to do, and that freedom, only through the vehicle of money, whereas the universe is a lot bigger than that, and you can achieve those things in a lot of different ways. So that's my second piece of advice, to really focus on really get deep into the essence of what you want, and focus on harnessing the law of attraction to manifest that. And one more thing that I want to mention that it could actually be helpful is sort of a parenthesis, it's kind of like a side note, right? For those people who are a little bit more advanced in their spiritual journey and are familiar or have heard about parallel lives, I'm going to put a link in the description of another YouTube video of someone else's, not my video, of how you can use the idea or the concept of parallel lives to really turn up manifestation. So with that, that's the end of our video today, and as usual, I would like to hear in the comments, what do you guys think? What are some other tips or tricks or advice that you have for people, or other thoughts you've had about the law of attraction and manifestation, and some clarity you've had about that, or even if you have some questions about it, please feel free to leave it in the comments. As always, thank you so very much for listening, and until next time.